When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish.
This podcast is currently experiencing technical difficulties. Please try podcast again later.
If you tried turning it off and turning it back on again. Is it plugged in?
I only turn it on, which might be the problem. Might be part of the problem.
I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
And we're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today...
we're talking about... what?
I'm trying to figure out when to use my very predictable jokes.
Can we just bang them out right here? Can bang, bang, shoot your lady down, shoot your jokes down right here?
Yeah.
In a row? Just go. Do it.
I have some news to share with you.
Okay, sure. Yeah. That definitely used her name.
Yeah. And then the reason I started laughing is I heard you singing... you doing Jack doing Cher. If I could turn back time. We're going to talk about Cher.
No. It's more like, if I could turn back time.
Yeah, exactly. That one. Yes.
Time. He like does the finger thing too. Yes. We are going to talk about Hang Diva Bracket Award winner.
That's
and
right.
some other awards that she's won.
That's
Cher.
Right. That's right.
On our other show, Have a Nice Gay. Go check it out. It's great. You did a Diva Bracket Challenge where people voted. You put divas head to head in every gay's worst nightmare, and people had to vote on them.
Yep.
And Cher won.
Cher won. Cher came out on top.
Yeah, Cher's a top. Is that where did you know what you thought was going to happen at the beginning or along the way?
I mean, obviously I did. I filled out the bracket and failed miserably.
Who did you have to win?
Who did I have to win? Like fucking Beyonce or somebody like that?
Fucking Beyonce. To be fair, she got an episode on Gayish first, so.
That's true. Really?
Again, among her accolades are...
We're just trying to make her feel better, right?
Yeah.
She's crushed that she lost the hang bracket.
But first. Oh, I was going to mention before you do news. November 8th is Intersex Day of Remembrance, also known as Day of Solidarity.
So we're not supposed to see them. We're supposed to remember them.
I think we see them on the most recent one and remember them. And between those 2 days, we've covered the gamut, the intersex gambit. Okay. No, is it gambit intersex? The intersex gamut.
Remember when we saw them?
This is remembering the day we saw intersex people. It's a very serious day. That's very important.
Sorry. I'm very sorry.
That's okay. That was all I was going to say about it.
Okay. Well, hi, intersex people.
Yeah.
I remember you.
Yeah. We remember to remember you.
Yeah. But that's not on brand, is it? So now the news?
Yeah.
Shut your mouth hole. It's time for your ear holes. News.
Okay, news the first. So just this week, Kyle, the United States has issued the country's first ever passport with an X in the gender box, allowing non-binary Americans to, quote, live with greater dignity and respect. So we have passports that say neither male nor female.
I didn't know
just the letter X.
Government was going to designate who is an X-man.
Right? Like, apparently, they're just honoring people who designate themselves as being X-Men.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or no, X-people?
X-people. Oh, shit. That's the worst way to describe. Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, so the U.S. State Department announced on Wednesday that the first passport with an X gender marker had been issued. Did not confirm to whom because of privacy concerns. Yeah. It was later confirmed that the passport had been issued to intersex Colorado Navy veteran Dana Zim.
Wow, that's funny that you said that privacy thing right before saying their name.
Yep. Who has been fighting since 2015 for a passport that designates them as neither male nor female, they, them pronouns, but Dana's last name is ZZYYM. Zim.
Oh.
I guess. I don't know.
Huh.
They said in a statement issued by Lambda Legal, quote, I almost burst into tears when I opened the envelope, pulled out my new passport, and saw the X stamped boldly under sex. I'm also ecstatic that other intersex and non-binary U.S. citizens will soon be able to apply for passports with the correct gender marker. It took 6 years, but to have an accurate passport, one that doesn't force me to identify as male or female, but recognizes I am neither, is liberating. Yeah.
And there are, of course, lots of factors to trans and non-binary people's challenges they face in the country, one of which is having government documents that reflect their gender identity. And even though it may not seem like it, like, what's the big deal? Just say you're this gender. Like, if you don't present as matching your document, or you're not able to get a document, you may not be able to work or access government services that you need. And that's part of the thing that contributes to the cycle of, higher rates of poverty or, other issues and stigma they face. So it's much bigger than it appears, I think, on the surface.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Also, why is gender on your ID anyway? Is that helpful in figuring out who you are?
If you are part of the patriarchy, it does. I don't know.
I am. I think.
Yeah, it's a good question. Like, they're supposed to look at the picture on the ID and then look at the human in front of them and then decide. But
yeah, I don't know. It's like, what is the use of that, and how helpful is that compared to height and weight or eye color? I don't know. All those which I self-identify or have not on my ID, it says like 150 pounds or something. Someone just typed in a number that is not me at all. Like, it's
like those bots on Grindr that are 4'11".
I don't know what color are your eyes? And I say what color my eyes are, and they just write it down. Like every other thing on there, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, I think my license says that my eyes are hazel because I didn't know what color my eyes were, and that sounded good.
That's a good color.
Yeah,
No, yeah, not true.
I think they actually are, or they're brown or green. I don't know.
They look brown from here, but
they're brown then.
Okay.
I should get that changed. I'll get that fixed. Eye color X. No. Yeah, news of the second?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So, Adelaide United midfielder Josh Cavallo. That's a soccer thing in Australia. Australian soccer player Josh Cavallo.
That second thing you did for him was way easier for me to understand.
Yeah. Has publicly announced that he is gay, becoming the first footballer to open up about their sexuality while playing in the A-League men competition. It's from Australia. Moved to the Adelaide club from Western United, and put out an adorable video just talking about how, like, I just want to play soccer, but also, quote, I am proud to publicly announce that I am gay. It's been a journey to get to this point in my life, but I couldn't be happier with my decision to come out. Adelaide United has made me realize football is more than just a game. It is a family.
Oh. You didn't finish that quote about, I just want to play football. Is that the start of it?
That wasn't the start of it. He said that he was talking about how not being able to live his life authentically made it difficult for him to just enjoy playing soccer.
No, but so he said that, and he continued, I just want to play football and suck dick.
You're right, exactly.
That's the full quote.
Oh, I see, yes. Yeah. He's really good at sucking dick, too.
Yeah? What would you rate him, like, what, 4 to 5?
Well, he plays soccer, so he's got the stamina. Adelaide United head coach Carl Veert said
said he does suck good, and then winked and walked off.
Cavallo had shown tremendous courage. Quote, Josh is a tremendous young man and has shown incredible courage to be one of very few professional sportsmen to be this brave. I have nothing but admiration and support for him, as do all the players and coaching staff. I want all my players to feel comfortable and happy being their own person on and off the park. For Josh to be the best he can be and get the most out of his career, he needs the freedom to be himself, and I fully support him.
Nice.
Yeah, it's we're seeing it more and more, right? Like it's unfortunate that we're still in this space of like the first in all of these different contexts, but it's happening more and more at like the highest levels of athletics that people are being out and comfortable being out and largely being supported.
Yeah, we're experiencing like within the past 5 years the first wave of firsts among like professional sports teams where people come out, and this marks a huge turning point in LGBT rights in sports and equality in sports. So it's huge, and but we're still on the firsts, and those firsts are so important.
Yep, absolutely. Well, welcome to the tent, Josh. Did you see his picture? That's him.
Ugh, he's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
annoying.
I know, it's annoying. Okay, news of the last?
Yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Suthan Ulakanathan in London hired Stephen Hay to build a fence for him. The fence was going to cost £600. The doctor said, I'm only going to pay £300. So the builder walked out, leaving the fence unfinished.
Mm-hmm.
This dude is a doctor, Dr. Ulakanathan, and so he got real mad that the guy was like, then I'm not building your fence, goodbye. It costs this much money. So what do you think that the doctor did?
I don't know, probably killed him, because that's how the last story like this ended.
In retaliation, the doctor posted 2 ads on the website Viva Street advertising Hayes' services as a gay escort in September and November last year, and included his name, phone number, and home address. So to get back at this guy for not building the fence he didn't want to pay for, he put out ads saying, I'm a gay escort. Here's how you get in touch with me.
Is he actually a gay escort?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I mean, either way, it's going to be shitty. I don't know. I just was very curious about if it was true or not.
Yeah, right. Well, no, it is not, and in part because, so apparently, well, I'll get to that in just a second. The advertisement said, young 30-year-old male, all types welcome, confidential. If free, come to mine. Will be in all day, most days. And then shortly after that, because it was all the real contact information for this dude, he was at the pub and got a text that read, "Hey, you." He thought it was an ex-partner, but soon was bombarded with texts and phone calls from men inquiring about sexual services. At court, when this went to court, he said, quote, "It continued from a number of people at different times and was quite intense for the first month, every day and late at night and the early hours of the morning." So I guess all of the time.
Yes, all the time, yeah.
On one occasion, he had to rush home when his mother told him a man had appeared on their doorstep. Quote, "The bloke was so embarrassed and I felt for him," said Hay. "I told the police this was a hate crime because these people would not know I might have been homophobic and attacked them." The doctor was arrested in February and this week pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of harassment without violence. And he described the guy as a, quote, cowboy builder, admitted to posting the ads, and added that he tried to delete them but didn't know how.
Sure.
He was convicted of harassment, ordered to pay a £2,200 fine, almost £1,000 in other costs. That's some unknown amount of money in American dollars.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. There's no way to translate that.
He will have to attend a misconduct hearing at the General Medical Council to decide whether or not he will be struck off for posting the fake gay escort ads. Like,
is struck off code for something?
I think that's
gay.
British for "you're not a doctor no more."
Oh, I think it's British for jerking off.
Oh well,
strike me off, dude.
We can start that rumor too. Anyway, just first of all, I've never been that mad at anyone ever that I would like do something this ridiculous.
Yeah. That's a lot of work to go into. Like, if I'm mad at someone, I don't have the energy to work on me, much less like on my vengeance, you know?
And who's like, I know I have an elaborate plan to get back at this person. that involves sex work. I just and then the other aspect of this though is like there are whole swaths of society that think the worst possible thing would be to be perceived as a gay sex worker.
Yeah, that's what immediately I was like thinking about that aspect of it. Yeah, for sure.
Like
that's it's like why is it bad? Like, oh, when I call someone gay, I don't mean they're actually homosexual. It's just like it doesn't mean gay. It's like, yeah, but what you're not seeing is that is in the same vein of like the worst thing I can do to attack you is to call you a gay sex worker. Yeah.
And send people to your house.
Yeah.
Oh man. Last thing. Mm-hmm. Who looks at an ad like that and then shows up?
That's to just like don't show up at the door of your escort's home without any previous contact, everyone. There's some escort 101 that people need to learn.
Because had he contacted him, he would have said, nah, brah.
No.
This person showed up and talked to his mom.
Maybe he was drunk or some kind of like, this is a good idea.
Yeah. It's true, though, that like you won't necessarily make the same decisions when you're thinking with your dick.
Yeah.
That you might otherwise.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the news.
That's the news. Well, speaking of other, I don't know, people that
Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Mike.
Everyone should have all of their shit now.
Oh, Patreon. Yes. We offer you things. You receive them. It's part of this whole package.
Not necessarily promptly.
But, if you are owed a shirt or if you should have access to shit or whatever, you should have all of it now. At least everyone who, for those who get shirts, like sent in a size and stuff. So, if you don't have something that you believe you are owed through your Patreon benefits, let us know, because at this point, maybe it's your fault.
Unless you not so hypothetically live in Israel, that one's going to take a while.
Oh, there's one. Yes. Otherwise, just double check. And if you think you need something, let us know and we'll figure out. So I would like to thank the following Patreon members.
Okay.
Josh Copeland. What?
Aaron Copeland's brother?
Yep. Step. I don't know.
Oh, stepbrother?
Yes.
Okay.
No, he lives under a step like Harry Potter. Xavier Lay. That's a cool name. Sounds like a Magneto type. Devlin. Is it Devlin's in the details? Yeah. Devlin's probably heard that before. Sorry, Devlin. Brian Jepson. Carly Ray. Right? Isn't that where you were going? Okay, that's exactly the right thing. Mike Lovins.
Oh, Mike, I Lovins you.
He was... Is that the name in like Superbad or
Mick Lovins?
Is
okay. Mick Lovins' brother.
This is Mike Lovins. That's close enough. Anyway, thank you all for joining. If you want to join, then you should. And go to patreon.com/Gayish podcast. You can get access to episodes early, ad-free, and bonus segments and shirts and all kinds of stuff.
And we have a new, cheaper video option.
Yeah.
Check that out.
$10 a month. Watch them if you can. Nope. I Like to Watch is the name of that group. So sign up for that.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Cher?
Let's talk about Cher. Okay, first.
Do you have more jokes you need?
First, no.
Okay.
I don't know why I want to put a trigger warning on this episode.
Okay.
We're going to fuck this up.
Oh, yeah. Should we just have a generic trigger warning before every episode that's like, you know what?
I think, yes. And in particular, beloved gay icons.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to not talk about something, or you're going to disagree with an opinion. And that's okay, because I love it when you hate me.
Oh, yeah. Directed at Mike. Mike made me say everything I said, except if it was good, then I said it. No, I agree. I in my head was just thinking this before. Whenever we talk about some, especially person, but like beloved thing in the gay community that we don't particularly care about or are not in that kind of like sub fan club or whatever, and we like look up stuff and say stuff, eventually someone will be like, oh, I can't believe like Cher was so important to me growing up. I, almost became a business person, but instead I went into dancing because Cher influenced me so much to, I don't know, like she's the reason I met my husband or whatever, touching moving story they have that makes her really important to them personally. Like we will get those. So I don't know. Yes, I'm okay. What is your Cher experience to date? Like, how do you feel about her? What do you know or care about her? Like, where's she at for you?
Okay.
That wasn't supposed to be a stumper.
I like her, and that surprises me. Like, I think I don't think she's particularly amazing, but has had this just irrefutable, indelible impact on world culture.
Yeah.
And there's a number of just fucking bangers that when they come on the radio, I'm real excited about life and happy.
Yeah.
And
is she A-list?
yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Don't act like that's a stupid question. Your weird idea of what's A-list confuses me.
Because in your world, Cher and Selena Gomez are in the same camp, which is not correct.
Because if you take the entire world, yes, like, let's picture where Selena Gomez is closer to Cher than me. Like, there's some grouping there of them. If Selena Gomez or Cher walked up to any place, they would let them in. Like, whenever they go somewhere, they will get pictures taken. Like, there's a certain level of fame and notoriety that you have. And I get there's something she said that you would like, that I read. It was
she?
Cher, the less important of the two. She, some interviewer asked her, of the current pop stars, Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, what do you think of them? Will anyone have your staying power? And she was like, I don't know. Like, I like them all, but they, are so early on in this career. So they just like give them a minute. And that felt like when you kind of put people in the categories, you reserve that like for very exclusive people that have proven for a long time that they can stick around. So I think you and Cher agree on that.
What are the other ways in which I'm like Cher? She's known for dating men her age. How about you? Wait, did I fully answer the question? I don't really understand why she's amazing. Like,
but you think she is?
Yes.
Wow.
I think her weird voice is weird.
Yeah.
And like doesn't necessarily work for me in a lot of ways aesthetically. But she's done some amazing shit. Yeah. And there's no like it's her. You fucking know it's her when she's on. Yeah. And it's not like grating either. It doesn't annoy me. I'm just not like super like Beyonce could fucking sing her fucking ass off.
Yeah.
I don't think that's Cher. Yeah. And yet she's managed to carve out this like superstar, ridiculous, iconic, like we use the word iconic too much, but she's literally iconic.
Yeah.
And anyway, how about you? What do you think?
I like the first time I actually felt like I was part of it or experiencing her actual career is when like I remember the song Believe on the radio like being a huge hit, and it was kind of like when Madonna and Ray of Light happened. It was like I didn't know these people before this moment, and people were talking about this in a way that was more than just this is a pop song. It's like, oh, she's back, and I didn't know what from or any of that.
But this could have been like the Backstreet Boys who said, "Guess who's back?"
Yeah.
Backstreet Boys are back. From where?
Where did you go, Backstreet Boys? You left and came back and never said where you went. The Backstreet. That's where they went. It's been there all along. One guy had heart problems. He probably went to the hospital a few times too. And that one guy went to rehab. No, I know where they've been. What am I talking about? Cher. So I don't have this like strong affinity that a lot of people in the LGBT community do. I don't know. I know more of her songs than I realize, and is definitely withstood that test of time. Like I think also her connection to Kathy Griffin is how I knew like that to me is the gayest thing about Cher is. But yeah, so I know she's important and know that drag queens make fun of her. So I know a little bit about her. Also, like, not in love with her. But yeah, if the song like Life After Love came on, no, that's Believe still. Why did I?
If I could turn back time?
Yeah. Well, anyway, like, yeah, there are a couple songs if those came on, I would be like, yeah. I enjoy this.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Do you want to tell me the history of Cher?
The history of Cher. Cher was born Sherilyn Sarkeesian on May 20th, 1946, meaning that she is now 75 years old. At least parts of her are. Cher's mom is still alive, which is weird, and is 95 years old and lives in Los Angeles. They sometimes make appearances with each other, and their relationship is absolutely adorable.
That's cute.
Cher really does come from a very poor background. They often had little money. Cher tells this story about having had to use rubber bands to hold her shoes together because they didn't have money for shoes. And at one point, really struggling between husbands, Cher's mom left her at an orphanage for a few weeks. I guess visited her every day, but still, like, it was hard on both of them. It wasn't like dumped her off and then left. It was a just I can't take care of this child's like basic needs like food.
Which, I mean, to be able to recognize that, take, as hard as that must have been, take action, and then continue to like not be I'm gonna now ignore this child and run away. Like, that's pretty admirable.
Yeah, I agree. Apparently Cher, like, early on told everybody, I'm gonna be famous. I'm gonna be famous. Get ready.
Wow.
And when she was in 5th grade, she produced a performance of the musical Oklahoma for her teacher and class. She organized a group of girls, did the directing, choreographing, but she was unable to convince any boys to participate, so she did all of the male roles and sang their songs.
Is this why wasn't Cher the one we talked about that did the remake of West Side Story?
Yes.
Okay, she has a long history of playing the boy roles.
It's just gender gives no fucks.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's because of that or not, by age 9, she had developed an, quote, unusually low voice.
All that time acting in the boy parts, she had to work on it.
Yeah, brah. She's a contralto, which that's like the bottom of the range for lady singers, usually. Anyway, fast forwarding a little bit, she met Sonny Bono in November of 1962, and they eventually got married, right? You know who Sonny and Cher are, right? Okay. Anyway, but at first, he offered her to be his housekeeper. So I guess that relationship started off kind of weird.
That's either very sexy or really off-putting, you know?
Yeah. So she cleaned his house for a while, and then eventually he introduced her to Phil Spector, who's this super famous record producer from the 60s. And then he put her in as a backup singer on a whole bunch of recordings, which I had no idea. The Ronettes, Be My Baby.
Be my little baby.
Oh. Cher is a background singer on that song.
Wow.
Righteous Brothers, You've Lost That Love and Feeling. Cher is a background singer on that song. Isn't that nuts?
That almost like makes me feel better that it seems like she put in work. Like, you have to start out doing things like
cleaning Sonny Bono's house.
Everyone in Hollywood has gone through the clean Sonny Bono's. Yeah, like, be a background singer on a thing. You know, like, I read something, I don't know if this is part of what you're saying, like, she had an early career under a different name and like had a couple things that weren't hits at all, and that made me very happy in a way that wasn't supposed to be malicious, because like clearly she made it, so it worked out for her. But hearing that it wasn't like she did a thing and then it was like, and now she's famous after one thing, it was almost reassuring to me.
Right. Yeah. Which, I don't know. I've said that about our show in a way. Like, I expected there to be just you do one thing right and then it goes viral and you have this huge audience, and instead it's been the opposite. Like, it's just been this slow but steady snowball, right? Don't
try to turn me on this late at night on a Sunday, Mike. I think that's a current myth that we see people like Justin Bieber, who did YouTube and then something, the right person saw it and it exploded. Like, that is such a rare thing. And a lot of people, though, see those success stories and think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And hey, it's possible we do one weird or dumb or stupid thing and
pick a fight with the right drag queen.
Man, we could really get that fight down, right? Like, I've really wanted to start a fight with someone and I don't know who.
Ben Shapiro.
Oh,
Maybe.
That would be a good one.
Fuck that guy.
No, we should talk about how fuckable he is. That's.
I kind of want to hate fuck him.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
I want to hate ride his dick.
The whole time you'd be so confused. No, please stop. No, I'm not gay. But wait, don't quit.
As he's never mind. I'm not going to continue to explore this fantasy out loud. No, I just think that's like one of the problems of our today's modern is just people think that those stories are the common one and they're just not going to happen.
I think it was Sheryl Crow that when Tuesday Night Music Club came out, those were like massive album that really got her started. It didn't get her started. That's the point. She got like Newcomer of the Year was an award that she got at some thing that I saw, and she's like, I've been in the industry for like 15 years trying to like, why are you calling me a newcomer?
Yeah.
Like newcomer to who?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Ben Shapiro is a newcomer to my ass.
Right. You're welcome, Ben. So you were alluding to this a little bit ago. She moved on from her like backup singing that she started doing, but then Phil Spector produced her first single, Ringo, I Love You, which I'm going to talk about that song in great depth later. Okay. But that was recorded under the name Bonnie Jo Mason. And here's the thing. It was not successful. That song did not do well at all. But there's a parallel universe in which that was a smash hit, and her name isn't Cher. It's Bonnie Jo Mason. And Bonnie Jo Mason just does not have the staying power.
But if we said... We're talking about superstar icon Bonnie Jo Mason. Did you know she almost considered calling herself Cher? Isn't that like that would be weird if it didn't exist in our reality? That would be the weirdest name.
I think, but I think mononyms are like there's something to it. Like there's a reason that Prince and Madonna and Cher and Seal and like Sting and like there's something about that like when you notice it, like it's genius. Yeah. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I also like that Lady Gaga is really a mononym with a title in front of it, right?
Yeah. She like knighted herself as part of her like
So she and Sonny got married in 1964 in Tijuana, Mexico. And then they very shortly thereafter recorded I Got You, Babe, which was just this crazy smash ass hit in 1965. It peaked.
Do you know who's gonna smash ass hit me?
Ben Shapiro. That's what I Got You, Babe is about, I think.
Yeah, they were predicting
the prophecy.
The rise of the Ben Shapiro's dick.
Oh God!
I need to get off this. I need to get this.
Oh, like Ben Shapiro's dick. Yeah.
This is
okay, great.
A weird path I've chosen.
This is going way longer than I wanted it to. So let's see. I'll just stick to the
big uns.
The big uns. She and Sonny were together until 1975, and then they divorced. And it's funny because she said that she sort of credits him with her initial ability to perform. That basically he wanted at first to sort of just ride her coattails or whatever, but then she's like, no, you have to be on stage with me because she had stage fright. And there are some early recordings where like she's for sure singing to him and not to the audience because he was like her rock or conduit or something. Anyway, she got over that shit though, and like didn't need him in the same way after a while. Monster career, right? She's an Academy Award winning actress for Best Actress, and she has an ego, Kyle.
She hasn't teed yet.
She hasn't teed yet, but she has a big old ego.
It's a Beyonce song.
Yeah, she's she just got to get that Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Which she could.
Yeah.
Right? She is the only artist to have a number one single on a Billboard chart in 6 consecutive decades. The 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 00s, the teens, and the 20s. Not the 20s. Anyway, she has held U.S. Billboard Hot 100 number one singles over the longest period of time in history, 33 years, 7 months, and 3 weeks between I Got You, Babe, which topped the chart for the first time on August 14th of 1965, and Believe, whose last week at number one was April 3rd, 1999. With Believe, she became the oldest female artist to have a U.S. number one song in the rock era at the age of 52. And I think one of the reasons I think that everybody loves her so much, especially gay men, we have this like strong, powerful, flawed female diva obsession that runs through gay male culture. Yeah. And one of the most, I think this is super interesting. Ms. Magazine,
Multiple Sclerosis Magazine?
Yeah. In 1988, described Cher this way. Cher, the straightforward, tattooed, dyslexic single mother, the first Oscar winner to have entered into matrimony with a known heroin addict and to have admitted to being a fashion victim by choice, has finally landed in an era that's not afraid to applaud real women.
Wow, that's quite the background. That's quite the, if you don't know who this is who this is thing.
Yeah, right? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And Rolling Stone's Jancy Dunn wrote, Cher is the coolest woman who ever stood in shoes. Why? Because her motto is, I don't give a shit what you think. I'm going to wear this multicolored wig. There are folks all over America who would, in their heart of hearts, love to date people half their age, get multiple tattoos, and wear feathered headdresses. Cher does it for us.
The tattoo thing was something I didn't realize about her was a thing. And I read because like later she got her tattoos removed, like because then it stopped being unique or challenging the norm or something. But I didn't know like tattooed was a part of her story or anything. Like that's very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think her tattoos, that's one of the reasons that she got in trouble. I guess if I could turn back time, that video is like the first video to ever get banned from MTV. I don't know if that's certain or not, but I read that somewhere. But part of the reason was because of her tattoo. You can see her tattoo through the netting that's on her ass, which that said, oh, that's her ass. Like it's not some sheer material or like tights. Like,
wow.
That is her ass because there's her tattoo.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's the history of Cher. Not even close. Like, well, it's also very difficult, I think, to like. She's been active and famous for 60 years ish. Like, there's so much. Yeah. There's way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing you mentioned I wanted to expand upon.
Okay.
And that is the fact that she's had a hit every decade for 6 decades.
Great.
I want to play a game, Mike.
Okay, let's do it.
I have a piece of paper here.
Oh, God, Kyle.
And it has on one column the decades.
Okay. Yeah.
And on the other side, I picked one of her number one hits and grabbed lyrics from that song.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I want you to connect the dots.
I have to match the lyric to the decade.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Okay. Okay.
So while you do that, I'm going to read to everyone what the... I'm going to tell everyone what the lyrics are from the 60s to the 10s. First one is, picked up a boy just south of Mobile, gave him a ride, filled him with a hot meal. Some of these I picked because they sounded very sexy. That's one of them.
All right. I know you're reading all of these, but
go ahead.
They say our love won't pay the rent. That's I Got You, Babe, which I just said was the 1960s. So that's the 60s.
Okay. I didn't know if this would be like impossible or very, like I have no idea what. Oh, yeah. Why don't you, you can say them if you had.
Oh, my God.
What?
I know the reason why. We all forgive, we all forget, and just keep believing. That's not believe. I'm trying to make that fit in that song, and I don't think it does.
Other one is, pride's like a knife. It can cut deep inside.
Yeah.
The next one is, I've been brought down to my knees, and I've been pushed way past the point of breaking, but I can take it. That is actually, sorry, that's a quote from me. I didn't mean to. And the last one, which is my favorite, is I'm too good for you. 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 I'm too good for you.
Yeah.
This is one of the songs that was probably not written by Diane Warren, because Diane Warren can write good.
Oh, God. Maybe it is Believe. It has the word believe in it. That one's the 90s, because Believe was 99. And let's see, picked up a boy just south of Mobile, gave him a ride, filled him with a hot meal. That sounds like Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, which is the 70s. I'm too good for you, 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 I'm too good for you. That is just, well, first it's true. And then, but I have no idea, so I'm going to put that in the teens. I've been brought down to my knees and I've been pushed way past the point of breaking, but I can take it. I'll put that one in the 80s, and I'll put Pride's Like a Knife. It can cut deep inside is the OOs. There you go.
All right. I think you got more wrong than right.
Great. Great. I feel good about that.
60s, I got you, babe. You were correct. They say I love won't pay the rent.
They say I love won't pay the rent.
70s, you named the song correctly. That is
Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves
is Picking Up a Boy in Mobile.
Picked up a boy just south of Mobile, gave him a ride, filled him with a hot meal.
The 80s was If I Could Turn Back Time, and that is Pride's Like a Knife, It Can Cut Deep.
Pride's like a knife, it can cut deep inside.
Okay.
I just picked that because it said the word pride, which I thought was interesting. Yeah. So you got that one wrong.
Great.
The 90s was Believe, and the song with the word believing was not from Believe.
Great. Yeah, that was my initial reaction.
I knew you were going to have a mic moment of like, wait, Kyle wouldn't pick this if it had the word believe, but maybe you did it because it specifically had the word. Like,
I caved under pressure.
I know. That's fair. It's good. You made me feel good, which is what this game is about.
Ben Shapiro.
Believe the song is or the lyrics are I'm too good for you, I'm too good for you, I'm too good for you. I don't remember anything about that song other than like the auto-tune Do You Believe in Life After Love part.
Yeah. The first song to crack the top 10 that had auto-tune.
Yeah.
And some people call auto-tune the Cher effect, which I think her PR people call it the Cher effect.
Oh, yeah. For the aughts, you said Probably Like a Knife. That was wrong because I already said that one earlier. So the correct one is Song for the Lonely, which is I know the reason why we all forgive, we all forget, and I just keep believing.
Okay.
Do you think Cher was making a self-reference? Like, do you think whenever she uses the word believe in her life is like, oh, I'm Cher.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. And so the 10s is Haven't Seen the Last of Me, which is the very sexy I've Been Brought Down to My Knees and Been Pushed to... That was great for you.
Yeah.
I've been brought down to my knees, and I've been pushed way past the point of breaking, but I can't take it.
Yeah.
Haven't Seen the Last of Me.
Wouldn't that be kind of interesting if that was the last hit song she had?
Yeah, well, and I don't remember that song. Like the rest of them, I remember. Like I Got You, Babe, baller, hit. Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, baller, hit. If I Could Turn Back Time, fucking smash, amazing. Believe, huge.
Yeah.
Song for the Lonely, dance my ass off to that.
I was going to say, that's one I also experienced because it was in all the gay clubs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that last one, I don't know.
I think that's from Burlesque, the flop of a movie, Burlesque.
Okay, but it still made it to
Still
number
worked
one.
for her. I mean, it worked for her, but yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
She's right. We hadn't seen the last of her because we didn't see her that time either. So, okay. Should I do a real segment now or should you do stuff now?
Oh, I mean, let's just keep talking about songs and I'll talk about a song.
Okay.
So, I want to talk to you about the song that I talked about earlier, her very first single, Ringo, I Love You.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Is this Ringo Beatles?
Ringo from the Beatles, that's correct. And so it was her very first single. recorded under the name Bonnie Jo Mason. The song was not a commercial success, and the evidence for this is sort of tenuous at best, but the prevailing theory is that the song was rejected by many radio station programmers. They thought Cher's deep contralto vocals were actually a man singing, and they believed it was a male homosexual singing a love song to the Beatles drummer Ringo Starr.
Wow.
And so when I read that, I was like, it was a whirlwind of emotions. Like, oh my God. I mean, how much like a man does this? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
And then, okay, so she sounds like a dude, and like, so then they immediately jump to like gay love affair with Ringo Starr, and it's like it's Bonnie. The name on the record was Bonnie Jo, whatever.
But that's what a gay dude would name himself if he was trying to get a song on the radio.
Maybe so. So my thought was, all right, is it possible to like confuse that? Like how, like, is this just a bullshit? Here's the song. Okay, I think she sounds so.
I think that's a homosexual man.
Like, it is rather masculine. I think, especially for the recording style of the time, she sounds like a Beatle.
Yeah.
Or the Monkees, or like
The Partridge
Everly
Family?
Brother.
Are they
like,
the same area?
But she sounds like a lot of contemporary to the time male recording artists.
Yeah.
I think it's also interesting, maybe she was punching that up a little bit, because the song repeatedly makes fun of Beatles songs. Like Ringo, I Want to Hold Your Hand, like the
Ringo,
Beatles song.
I would love to get inside your Ringo. Famous line from that song.
Yeah, it was in the Yellow Submarine, I think. Yeah. Anyway, but just, she might have anti-gay sentiment to thank for her career, because that made her crash and burn and fail as Bonnie Jo. And then she moved on, and Sonny and Cher became a thing.
Yeah. Huh.
Anyway, yeah, that's a very dudish song.
Yeah. Should I?
Yeah.
Okay, going to completely change the gear towards her LGBT, her icon status.
Yeah.
This is something I feel like I do whenever we talk about straight cis people that, you know, are big icons, and it's like, well, you know, should they be? And we always have that like discussion. So I more wanted to just talk through, again, like, because of how long her career has been, I just looked at a few lists, compiled some things that I found. So
the Vanguard Award is just the Who Do the Gays Like Now award.
Yes, she won the Gays Like Me Now award in
90 something.
98. She received the GLAAD Vanguard Award. So there was an article talking about the first time, quote, the first gay man I met, I was 12 years old, and I came home from school, and there were, and then I didn't paste the rest of it, and then it just stops there.
Oh.
Hold, please. She said more.
Okay.
The first gay men I met, I was 12 years old, and I came home from school, and there were these two guys in our living room, and they were talking to my mom and her best friend, and I was like, they're so happy and excited about everything, and they were talking about so animated, and I thought, these guys are much more fun than the regular men that come over to visit, and I didn't know that they were gay. I just thought, these guys are great, and it just started from them. And that has the both interesting, like, an early experience that was good for her, like, that makes sense that could then make its way into support for and among LGBT people, but also has that kind of vibe of like, oh, I met a gay person, he was so stylish and friendly, that kind of thing, which I don't know, I I know we've talked about that, and I struggle with that concept of like, it's great to have certain parts of our culture that like there are certain parts of our culture that are ingrained and are definitely true to some level. Like it's not that we're exclusively fashion designers, but more likely to be. And so I just always struggle with like, what's the benefit versus challenge of those kind of stereotypes. And I don't know. It's just interesting that she had one of those early experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. And not too much, but a little bit of slack because it was the 50s, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah. And like there's probably a certain amount of time where you need like, hey, hear good things about gay people. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what they are. Just we need to get something out that is a positive. So you're right. You should get far more credit for, well, but she didn't say that in the 50s, I guess. But having that belief in the 50s, very progressive. This I actually think stood out the most to me out of all these details. In 1979, at her Las Vegas residency, she hired 2 drag queens to perform with her.
Yeah.
And one writer said that she like kicked off the drag queen, like put them into mass or popularity by doing that.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it real quick. Did you have more about them? I forget exactly what the source was, but one of the drag queens was a Bette Midler, and one of the drag queens was maybe a Diana Ross. Anyway, and she apparently played some Bette Midler and whoever the other one was. Damn it! I wish I could remember who the other one was. Doesn't matter. But played recordings of those two.
Like actual singing of theirs?
And apparently Cher said she thought that a lot of the audience just thought that she had somehow conned Bette Midler to being on the stage with her. That like that it was the late 70s, early 80s, but that like maybe she was passing as Bette Midler and that people were just thought, I'm in Las Vegas. I saw Cher and Bette Midler. Not that they were like really drag queens.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Interesting. Huh. In 1983, she played a lesbian in the film Silkwood. She was Oscar nominated for that role, which I didn't realize. She won her Oscar for Moonstruck. But she's nominated for Silkwood.
I think she won the Golden Globe for Silkwood.
Oh, that award is really having a hard fall in the media these days.
What?
It's like no network will air the Hollywood Foreign Press is getting like slammed.
Oh,
and
sure.
They're not like,
but everybody gets real drunk at that one.
That's true. I miss it. Oh wait, I'm drinking my Halloween wine. Chaz Bono came out as a lesbian at the age of 17, which is in 1995, which I didn't realize. I don't know too much about Chaz Bono and his saga. Except that he's a trans man. Like that's kind of, that's been big, and he was on Dancing with the Stars, I think. Anyway, I did not know he was outed 2 years before he actually came out, like by a newspaper. Like, can you imagine? So he came out himself at the age of 17. So at 15, I guess, or earlier something. Can you imagine being outed as a lesbian at the age of 15? Like that.
Just because you have a famous mom.
That, yes. And it's not even that you're the one that has the public image, because man, that's shitty.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
I can't. Oh, geez. When Chaz originally, actually, Cher said both times that he came out, she actually said in a 2018 interview, quote, "I didn't go through it that easily both times." It's interesting because she at the time had already, become this LGBT icon status, but it's different when it's someone very close to you in your family. When Chaz came out as a lesbian, it caused Cher to feel guilt, fear, and pain. Chaz said she was quite uncomfortable with the news at first and, quote, went ballistic. It was around 2008 when Chaz began to transition. He had like a special, I think in 2010, where he talked about kind of starting that process. It's interesting the having a family member be LGBT. It should not make you an icon, but also And it's also interesting that, like, for being an icon, like, you don't necessarily have to go through the real world experience of, I don't know, but I do think becoming, like, having a family member gives you the opportunity to be a better, closer ally to LGBT people and can lend credence to her status.
Yeah. What I'm chewing on is this. I think it's understandable. That doesn't mean it's okay. That there could be parents out there in the world who are totally on board with the gay rights, totally on board with LGBT people, and just don't want that for their kids.
Yeah.
And may handle that in different ways, more or less appropriately. But it can come from a good place, I think, of just recognizing that this life is not easy, and depending on when and where you are. But like, I think parents have a natural instinct to protect their kids, and they want their lives to be as easy and successful as possible. And LGBT plus people have a rougher go of it. And
I also think that's the nicer wrapper around I don't want to have to deal with this personally that a lot of people put. I think a lot of people it's not about, or they're like tricking themselves into believing it's because they want them to have a better life, and it's really like, this will be a challenging thing for me to tell other people or explain or get to understand.
Absolutely. For sure.
I think it's definitely much different when I think people in general just, there's a fear of the unknown, and so coming to understand that there's a huge part about your child that you didn't know, that's risky. That can be risky. What if this person doesn't like me anymore? What if I don't like them? What about this relationship caused them to not be able to tell me? Did I do something? Like, I can understand it's very different than like, oh, that gay dude on the street, like, I like him. I think even my mom, when I came out, knew of gay people and was like, had coworkers or something, and didn't really care, and said something like, but it's different when it's family. So
yeah.
Okay, keep going. In 1997, she was a keynote speaker for the PFLAG convention, very soon after Chaz came out as a lesbian. 1998, she received the GLAAD Vanguard Award. She, among her reasons she's an LGBT icon, I put she guest starred in Will and Grace twice. In 2018, she headlined the 40th Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras. In September 2020, she raised nearly $2 million for Joe Biden's presidential campaign at a virtual LGBTQ-themed fundraiser.
Yeah.
So those are just a few of the highlights. She's definitely more involved compared to other icons we've looked at, more involved in the life and times of the modern queer. Like, she's more active. She's
not just sucking off the gay teat. She's like, she's actually doing stuff.
I think so. Yeah. It's also, it's easier when you're famous to get a guest spot on Will and Grace and call that activism. Like, for a lot of people, that would be like a cool job for you. Not, that's not activism. But, so of course for her, it's a little bit different. But one quote I wanted to read that you mentioned, there's this kind of idea of the, misunderstood or female who has, challenges their own life and perseveres and whatever. And honestly, I think more than any specific thing she's done, those are the things that make her, give her this icon status, not any of the things we read. And it's always difficult for me to quantify that part of it. Or anyway, so in one of the articles I was reading, a fashion person, I never know what's called, someone in fashion that owns fashion, that does fashion things.
Fashionista.
Sure. That sounds like Richard Parsakian, when talking about Cher, said, quote, "I think that's why the gay community has embraced her, because she's a rule breaker and a survivor, and we love that. The theme of my fashion show is rebirth." Oh, this was at his fashion show, I guess. And I have a quote from Cher. She said, I've had so many rebirths, I should come with my own midwife by now." And I had not thought about it until
Spell come.
Oh, not with your midwife. That's a full wife, not a midwife. You need to stop at them. Anyway, I hadn't really given enough, I think, credit to the idea we like people who, a lot of the female pop stars that we like, have these kind of reinvigorate their career, completely change identity thing. And I didn't really think about it until this quote of, we as gay people, when we come out, do a bit of this ourselves. And some people look down on us because they're like, oh, you weren't being authentic before. Is this the real you? Or now you like, so the fact that we respect people that, you know, are able to completely change their persona also in a way that fits with their like art and what they're doing. I just kind of made that connection and learned to appreciate that a little bit more and connect that more to the LGBT community than I had before.
Yeah.
Straight people don't have the like come out. I have to completely like refigure out parts of my life. Surely they do. I'm sure other shit. Anyway, but like that's a core part of who we are and what we have to do. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You're super right about all of that.
You should say that to me more often. I don't often get the blanket seal of mic approval. Yeah.
You want to talk about another song?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. This is another song. She had a single in 1972 called "The Way of Love," and I'll just start with the lyrics. When you meet a boy that you like a lot and you fall in love, but he loves you not, if a flame should start as you hold him near, better keep your heart out of danger, dear, for the way of love is a way of woe, and the day may come when you'll see him go. Then what will you do when he sets you free, just the way that you said goodbye to me? I don't know if you followed all of that, but according to Joe Viglione from AllMusic, there's only two ways to read those lyrics. It's either about a woman expressing her love for another woman, or a woman saying au revoir to a gay male that she loved. So
yeah, she's definitely talking to an ex.
She's giving, or is she giving advice? Anyway, I'll let you hear the song real quick. It's a very weird song.
When you meet a boy that you like a lot and you fall in love, but he loves you not, if a flame should start as you hold him near, better keep your heart out of danger, dear, for the way of love is a way of woe, and the day may come when you see him go. Then what will you do when he sets you free, just the way that you said goodbye to me?
She sings all of that a couple more times, but yeah, the last stanza like sort of drives it home for me that there's something LGBT going on. Then what will you do when he sets you free, just the way that you said goodbye to me? So the person, whoever's the actor in that,
the narrator?
is being the person that the narrator's speaking about.
The you.
Yeah, they are being set free from a man and saying goodbye to her. So
the way you said, but it sounded like it was in the past. You said goodbye to me, so I'm going to tell you that this man's going to say goodbye to you. I'm hearing it as like an ex that is like was broken up with and is now warning them like, remember how you broke up with me? Like this dude's going to break up with you.
Yes, but that means that person is into chicks and dudes, right?
Maybe, or was gay at the time and broke up.
Yeah,
or is a female, or yeah.
There's something
gay about it. Yeah,
there's something gay going on, or maybe she's just bad at pronouns. I don't know. But yeah, that's 1972's "The Way of Love," which at least according to some people is impossible to read in a non-queer way.
Yeah. I wonder if it's buried enough that people didn't think about it or assumed that it must be a friend. You know, like, okay, let's say like I was friends with you and you said goodbye to me. Like you didn't stop wanting to hang out with me. And then you started dating this dude. Like that.
Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Mike.
We're going to talk about this now.
Oh, okay.
I had a dream the other night that I started dating women again, and you got real mad. What do you think would happen if I started dating women?
I would be surprised. I would be worried.
What have you done with Mike?
Well, it'd just be like, you did this before and it didn't go great. You know, like this has happened. We've done this before. If it was authentic, if you came to me and said, I'm dating women, it would take me a little bit to change that in my head. But like, actually, like the fact that you've had sex with a woman and like didn't completely hate it, like you haven't said things that say absolutely never a woman. Like I could see you hooking up with a woman. I don't know.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be the crazy. It'd be kind of crazy. We'd have to change the name of this podcast to Gayish. It'd just be a whole thing, though.
Would it be good for our ratings?
Oh, do something crazy. Absolutely, it would.
Okay, great. Yeah, you got more?
Sure, yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh, this is where.
Suddenly your notes make sense to you?
Well, yeah. I put things in a place they don't belong. Mm-hmm. Ben Shapiro's butt.
Ben Shapiro.
Can Cher act?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know that I've seen her in any, like, for any length of time. I've never, like, I don't seek her movies out. I haven't like watched her body of work. There's a part of me that like I'm not proud of it. I'm just saying saying stuff because that's what we do on this show. It's like when I think about like she won the Academy Award for Best Actress. Like that puts her in Meryl Streep category. It just makes me wonder if all the other actresses that year were shitty and one snuck past the goalie. You know, like, and I shouldn't think like that. I really shouldn't. Like she has multiple nominations, multiple wins, Academy Awards, BAFTAs, Golden Globes. Like, yes, whether I agree or not, apparently she can.
Well, okay, I have two conflicting thoughts. One is yes, like the saying she can't act from is like when you watch professional soccer and you're like, oh, I could play better than them. And you're like, you're not, no, you don't fucking know. You know, like you're not, you don't, anyway. So there's a part of it that kind of rejecting her ability to act is probably comes from some form of shittiness that I don't know what it is, or, you know, we judge, I don't know, women or singers or something. Okay. I think Lady Gaga, I thought she was decent in that movie where that guy kills himself.
A Star Is Born?
Yes. Mm-hmm. But I think she won because she's such a good singer and songwriter. Sure. And that's like, I just, anyway, I think it's like, oh, very good that you're in a movie that's very heavy on that part. Because the actual acting part, very good, but I didn't think it was, anyway.
Yeah.
Versus, so I've seen Moonstruck. It's the only film of hers I've seen. And I was surprised. I was not expecting it. There's this like, kind of thing in the back of my mind. It's like, but is she an actual good actress? I think because she's such a weird person. You know, like there's a whole thing I didn't end up doing, but there was just like Cher's Twitter is the weirdest thing ever. Really? Like she just says crazy things. It was something like when I was reading about it, someone was talking about like in a world where like authenticity is often what gets most upvoted. She's just saying crazy shit and it seems to work, you know? Anyway, so I bring this up because there was an article in, the other side. Sorry, back to my, I took myself down a road. I forgot where I started. The other side of it is though, awards are not actually the most meaningful thing in defining greatness. Like they are, things like the Oscars are going to be people who are extremely popular and also have enough of like PR and are acceptable to win. And, you know, like there's, so discounting some of those awards is okay as long as you do it like across the board, not just for one person. I think
sometime we should go through and just be extra cunty and decide who the least talented Academy Award winner is.
Oh, I mean, the ones that were most surprising. Oh, Halle Berry got a Razzie in the same year that she got a Oscar, I think.
Great.
I think
Okay.
she was one of the few people that actually showed up to the Razzies, and she brought her Oscar, which is very funny.
Yeah.
Like that. People were surprised that Sandra Bullock won an Oscar, Matthew McConaughey. Like, there's some interesting folks up there.
Yeah.
It's like, is Matthew McConaughey a good actor, or did he just lose weight?
Or does he just have abs?
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
great. Yeah.
Losing weight tends to be a good way to get an award if you're a male.
Except the podcast awards.
I mean, well, I don't know. Okay. There was an article in The Observer by Helen Holmes in 2019 that talked about, one, I thought this was a fun topic to bring up because surely it'll make someone angry. So here we go.
Great.
But also, director and actor Peter Bogdanovich did an interview with Vulture. Do you know who that is? You're nodding your head.
Yeah. They were together both musically and in film.
Definitely in film because that's what this article is. I don't. Yeah.
Because somebody was like, "Why would you ever work with him again if it was so shitty the first time?" And she's like, "Well, he's good at what he does."
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't
go
know
ahead.
he said the worst person he's ever worked with was Cher.
Yeah.
He worked with her in I think he directed the 1985 movie Mask, where Cher played the mother of a teenage boy with craniodiaphyseal dysplasia.
Okay.
And he said to Vulture, quote, "Well, she didn't trust anybody, particularly men. She doesn't like men. That's why she's named Cher. She dropped her father's name. Sarkisian is. She can't act. She won Best Actress at Cannes because I shot her very well. And she can't sustain a scene. She couldn't do what Tatum O'Neal did in Paper Moon. She'd start off in the right direction, but then she'd go off wrong somehow very quickly. So I shot a lot of close-ups of her because she's very good in close-ups. Her eyes have the sadness of the world. You get to know her. You find out if it's self-pity, but still... You get to know her. You find out it's self-pity, but still it translates well in movies. I shot more close-ups of her than I think in any picture I ever made."
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. That's a lot of things for a person to like. So, yeah. It's interesting. Helen in this article pointed out she won an Academy Award not for this movie that was not close-ups. Like, is it that she's bad, or do you, what he's describing also sounds like very control-ish. If she did, like someone may interpret moving a different way as like, she was crazy. It's like she went left one time instead, like there's lots of ways that could actually come across.
There's also just like bad chemistry, like creatively or whatever, right? Like you can get people who are good in the same room and have it be a disaster. Like,
yeah, but he just has like this air of the fact that he brought it to She Hates Men. Like it just has this air of him like expecting women to do everything that he wants them to do. And when they don't, then they must hate men. And like saying the last name thing, it feels like, there's some, I don't know. It's like thinking that that's a gotcha. Like she has a last name and this is what it is. Like, it's like, that's not as good of an insult.
You mean her parents didn't just name her Cher?
I mean, yeah, like it's, I don't know.
Show me the birth certificate, Cher.
Birth or movement for Cher.
That's what you should say to Ben Shapiro.
Why?
Show me the birth certificate. He's very into birth certificates.
Oh, was he part of the whole thing? Okay. Cher has said, as Helen pointed out, Cher has said about men, quote, "A man is not a necessity. A man is a luxury." When asked about that, because that like kind of became a thing on its own, Cher said, "My mom said to me, sweetheart, one day you should settle down and marry a rich man." And I said, "Mom, I am a rich man."
Yeah.
And to me, that like the idea that a woman does not need men, it can be so challenging. I think especially for older men, that's a threat to their manhood that she doesn't need men, that she's not doing exactly what he says. Like I'm reading a lot into this.
No,
and
I don't
it's
think
very,
you are.
okay. It just is very misogynistic, controlling, and shitty. He's like, she won this award because I did such a good job at my job. So that's more what I wanted to talk about rather than the actual. Yeah, I think Cher's a good actress.
Yeah. Okay. I should watch Moonstruck and like report back my findings.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. We'll all wait for the update on the future episode.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So did we do it?
I don't know.
We shared all the share.
Okay. What? I mean, there's so much other shit about. It's so weird to read her Wikipedia because it's most people, if they get remembered at all, will be a sentence, and she has like decades.
It is the longest Wikipedia article I have ever read the whole thing of. Like, it is very, very long.
And like she has every decade there's like a heading it's interesting that decades of your life would get their own sentence to describe what it is like that clear. It's like, yeah, it's very weird to think most of us, no one will give a shit about. And she's got like, this decade, here's what she was up to. I'm trying to think of what else she did that we didn't talk about. Surely other shit, but covered a lot of big stuff.
Yeah.
Drag queens always impersonate her.
Yeah, they do.
Is it because part of it has to be her voice? I mean, she wears crazy outfits already and has a crazy voice. That's always fun to impersonate.
And her cheekbones. I don't know. I think it's she is distinctive looking. Is the most diplomatic thing I can say.
What's the least diplomatic thing you could say?
It's kind of weird looking.
Okay, yeah.
But like that, it takes that, I think, to like, you can't just be generic white girl. Something about you has to stick out.
Yeah.
Right. And
it's her cheekbones.
Yeah. And she wears crazy outfits and gives zero fucks and has these awesome like baller gay anthems. And
she has these like cool lines that are fun to say. Like, I am a rich man.
I am a rich.
Like, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we did it.
Cool.
Should we take a break?
Let's take a share break.
What does that entail, I wonder?
Yeah, I'll share with you later.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
So are we back?
We're back. We're back. We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest.
We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest, but first, our website is gayishpodcast.com.
I was looking at my notes. My notes don't have this information. We are on Instagram, social, YouTube, Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
It's at Gayish Podcast. You get it.
Our hotline, you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails. It's 5855-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rate supply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
And our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109.
I didn't mention for our Patreon $10 and up level members, we just added kind of a fun, just happy, nice thing is you will get access to your full recording of a theme song that has an extra verse. So that's available to anyone at that level.
It features Cher. The second verse has Cher in it.
I definitely remembered that, and that's why I brought it up. Totally, for sure. I did just listen to it because I was posting it. But yeah, totally.
100% for Cher. Yeah.
Gayest and Straightest?
Yeah, we'll do a Gayest and Straightest. I can go first. Okay. So the straightest thing about me this week is just not really liking Halloween that much. Like, it gets called Gay Christmas, and I'm not anti. Like, I've gone to things and I'll dress up, but like, there are people, gay people,
gays,
one of which may or may not work for us, who are like obsessed with fucking Halloween.
I realized on the last episode would have been the episode to mention Halloween because now it's past for you all listening. Like, we didn't mention Halloween. I was like, oh no, did we offend Dan because we didn't mention his Halloween?
He's not here this week. Maybe that's why.
He is out doing Halloween things.
He is. Yeah. Gay Christmas is not my thing. The gayest thing about me this week was going and watching Dune in the theater with some friends of mine, and if one of them got up and went to the bathroom right before the part where Oscar Isaac is naked for like multiple minutes, like full naked. Like you don't see his ding dong, but like creative leg placement to make sure the dick isn't seen, but like clearly very naked. Mm-hmm. And I just was so sad for him.
That's like the worst thing that's ever.
You're missing it.
That's like when you get up, you're like, is it worth it? Am I going to miss? Can I pick a time where nothing's happening? Where Timothy Chalamet is just looking across the sand, doing nothing for a few minutes or whatever. That sucks.
Yep.
My gayest is I bought a dress as part of my outfit for Halloween. Mm-hmm. Didn't actually use it. Didn't actually wear it. But that was the original plan.
Sure.
The straightest is I did.
What color's the dress?
Green.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's also a very easy Halloween costume that I was like, I can just. The straightest thing is that I did go out on Halloween weekend, like not to a Halloween thing, but so I could have like dressed up and it would have made sense, but I didn't. So I just put on my Nutella hoodie and then I had on like khakis, so they were like brown pants, so it like actually kind of looked, and like a couple people laughed and were like, nice costume. So like doing the least amount of work and still getting credit for it is my straightest thing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
This week's listener Gayest and Straightest comes to us from Satyr69 on our Discord server, also known as our friend Scott.
Hey.
From the Satyr Sphere podcast. Straightest, watching 49ers football with my friend Christina and her parents. Gayest, trying not to giggle uncontrollably when they announced it's National Tight End Day.
You know who got a text from me on National Tight End Day?
Ben Shapiro. Yeah. Oh, right. Well, that's it. A thank you to that tree that Sonny Bono hit when he was skiing that killed him.
Cher? Oh. Wondering which of us was going to.
Did you know that's how he died?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad, right?
It's very bad. It's not good for anyone. I would like to thank our Super Gap Bridgers who give us money to make this happen. Thank you so much, Forrest Nail, Patrick Martin, Anonymous, Explosive Lasagna, Christopher Farrell, Jamie Pugh, Kevin Henderson, Tipsy McStumbles, Donald Linsky, Thomas B., Dusty Sands, Chris Cacciatorian, Jerome York, and Cian and Javi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for it. That's Alanis Morissette.
Oh, yeah.
Na, 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 na.
That's it. This has been Gayish from the Chris Cacciatorian Studios. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you. See you next week.
See you next week. And he was a mayor. Forget what city.
That's weird. That's a weird. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that now.
Okay, great. Wait, extensively, or can I say my super gap bridges?
No, not super extensively. I don't know that I want to. My Sonny Bono died in a skiing accident joke. It didn't land nearly as well as I wanted it to. Palm Springs. He's mayor of Palm Springs.
Really? That's the gayest thing about him.
He was a congressman?
Huh.
He's a member of the U.S. House of Representatives from California's 44th District. Are you kidding me? Congressman Sonny Bono? Whew. We're going to do a whole episode on Sonny Bono, apparently.
Great. Spoiler, doesn't end well.